You may or may not have seen today the Pope has handed down his first major statement, and it talks exactly as you're talking about. It talks about love and loving your neighbor. What does that mean for a political party, though? Because of course our country is supposed to be founded on the separation of church and state. And you have spoken out about that in
I have.
Texas.
I
Go
have.
ahead.
I was raised to believe that the separation of church and state is a sacred boundary. And it's one that Christians throughout Texas history and American history have fought for because that separation doesn't just benefit the state, it benefits the church. The protections go both ways. When religion gets too cozy with political power, it loses its prophetic voice and its ability to speak truth to that power. And so that separation is something that we have to honor. I have, though, clarified that a separation of church and state is not the same thing as a separation of faith and politics. We all bring our moralities and our philosophies to our politics, and faith is really no different. My faith shapes my politics, and I hope it shapes the politics of every person of faith, regardless of what tradition you belong to. Just like it did for Jimmy Carter, just like it did for Dr. King and Cesar Chavez and Dorothy Day and Mr. Rogers. We are called to bring our values to the public square, but that cannot be used to force our beliefs or our doctrines on people by government force. That's where we have to draw the line. And that institutional separation of church and state is so important to honor.
Can you go back a step and talk again about what you said at the very beginning when you were talking about faith? And that was that the religion is hurt by the insertion of politics too, because you lose your ability to talk authoritatively to power. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, religion at its best, Christianity at its best, challenges the powers that be. Um, we've also seen Christianity used to benefit the people in power throughout history. But it's important to remember that our calling as Christians is the demolition of domination. It's why Christians spoke out against abolition, I'm sorry, against slavery. Some of the first abolitionists were Christian activists. It's why people of faith spoke out against Jim Crow, against the empire, against the feudal system. That really is what we're called to do today. And we're not able to do that if our church or people of faith are in bed with the people in power, which happens way too often and has happened throughout history.